Good morning, everyone. Virgo here. I wanted to go over some of the answers that I've gotten so far with regards to my community tabs question from last night, which is what's the weirdest thing you did as a child? So, for those of you that haven't had the opportunity to look at it or to answer the question yet, I wanted to go over a few of these because I've been sitting here laughing my head off. All right, first of all, to be fair, I will state mine. When I was little, I was raised in an area that was pretty much all farmland. And I'm talking about from like, 0 to, oh, I guess I was probably 9 before getting into a more populated area. So all of my best friends were animals. And I had not just stuffed animals, but real animals, obviously, that I absolutely adored. But one of my very favorite stuffed animals, my father was a veterinarian. He was an old country vet, and he used to get me on special occasions. He would take me to the Rexall Drugs, which was about an hour away. That's how far away we were from any kind of civilization, and let me pick out a stuffed animal. One of my favorites was a bobcat. That bobcat I still have today with a lot less hair. But that bobcat was literally my closest friend for a very long time. When I was about 5 years old, I used to go outside into the area where he would do woodworking, and I would collect sawdust, and I would mix it up with water or whatever liquid I could find, God forbid, and actually attempt to spoon feed my stuffed animal bobcat the sawdust. I called it Bobby the Cat Mix food. Okay, so I was even like branding things at this point. Okay, so then it got a little bit weirder as I got older. My playroom was right next to what we had like a basement at one point that was renovated into kind of like a party room, and my dad had built a beautiful wooden bar. And so I used to go in there and pretend like I was a bartender and all these things. And he had martini glasses, which I always thought were the coolest looking glasses. So what I did was I started grabbing, um, of course, I wanted all of my drinks to be different colors. So I started going into the kitchen and grabbing out of the cabinet when my mother was not looking some food coloring, and I would make my drinks out of water and put different colors of food color in them. And I would try, of course, to serve as the bartender my stuffed animals those drinks. So that is my weird one. But we're going to go on to everybody else's weird one that's answered because I think that these are priceless. So we'll start with John. John Trevi has an interesting one. He says the weirdest thing I think would be I got one of those pot noodle lids and cut some holes in it for a mouth shape and wore it like one of those masks from Silence of the Lambs. I think I've known John online for a couple of years now, and I can actually see him doing that today. I love you, John. Okay, Rose says, I hated my Buster Brown brand new shoes I had to wear to an event, so I suppose I purposely went down to the rocky sidewalks and ground the leather into it, scuffing and making them look old. Now, the real weirdness cannot be told. It was too weird. Uh-oh. But this will do. I think I rebelled day one. Sounds like it. Another weirdness was I hated my photo taken, and I have every photo with my mouth open, tears streaming down the face crying, with those Buster Brown scuffed shoes glistening in the sunlight. Try asking what the weirdest thing parents did. Yes. Now, I don't even want to go there because with these type of questions, I feel like it's important that I actually put mine up first because let's face it, some of these things can be embarrassing. I do not want to talk about my parents at all. So that will not be happening, Ro. Thank you for your answer. Okay, next we have Stephen Young. I used to make a peanut butter sandwich and climb 45 feet to the top of our hemlock tree. I wanted to be a squirrel, and I didn't like our babysitter. So the secret squirrel accounts probably have special meaning to you then, Stephen. Thank you for your answer. Chuck. Chuck from Chuck Chases the Facts. And if you guys haven't actually seen his YouTube channel yet, please go to it. It is hilarious. I absolutely love what Chuck's been doing. Being possibly the shortest kid in my year, I took cello lessons and was pretty good. I ran very where. I think he means everywhere. Fell in love with the prettiest girl in school and asked her out. It lasted 24 hours. But my best recollection was coming first in our school's Run the World Challenge, 6 kilometers from memory, did it in something like 42 minutes. That's great, Chuck. Thank you. Okay, weird is subjective. You are absolutely right, Colomine. Weird is subjective, but it's what's weird to you. So, for about 3 weeks, I wanted to be a fire engine, not a fireman, a fire engine. I don't think that's all that weird, but that might be because I'm weird. Okay. But in the main, the only weird thing I did was eat strange combinations of food: corned beef, mayo, and banana sandwiches, ham and peanut butter and jam, and banana and salami were common. You know what? Let me share this with you. So one of my favorite things to do was to make my own sandwich when I was about 4 years old, because it was something, of course, that, made a mess and I was told not to do on my own. When I started, that was a real treat to me when I started being able to make my own sandwiches. The first sandwich that I ever made was a peanut butter and mustard sandwich. Okay. Happy says, I was 6 years old and I had an upset stomach. Obviously, I had an upset stomach because I was poisoned. What cures poisoning? Antidotes. I think I had gotten this off of a James Bond movie. What do antidotes do? Oh my gosh, why they make you throw up poison. So I proceeded to mix everything I thought was nasty together into a concoction: egg, coffee grounds, mayonnaise, and mustard vinegar. You get the idea. I drank it and vomited profusely, probably for a long time too. The upside is that my stomach did feel better, so despite the trouble I got into, I remained convinced of my correctness, and for a year or so I secretly reveled rather in how smart I was. It's a great one. Okay, Baker Street Gaming says, when I was little on holiday with my parents, for some reason I grabbed some fruit and rolled it down a hill for no reason whatsoever. Plus the usual Christmas. Okay, so you were a shepherd, got bored, so decided on using my cane as a gun. Oh, was that in church, I wonder? Were you chasing people with your cane, pretending it was a gun? Okay, Moo Mama. I started out unique. When I was a baby, I never crawled. I didn't want to miss anything. Instead, I scooted around on my booty so I could watch everything around me. Now, that's just smart there. As my friends, and they will tell you that I am the weirdest person they know, I relish solving problems in ways that are outside the box and sometimes ridiculous. I have raised my children to march to the beat of their own drum also. I think that's wonderful. Okay, so Pete says, grow up. I guess that's the weirdest thing he did. Thank you, Pete. All right, you guys, I just wanted to share some of these with you because they are so cute and funny. And there are a lot more on my communities tab, so please go over there and take a look at them when you get a chance. I hope everybody is having a wonderful week. Some of you have sent me emails and questions with regards to how I'm doing. It's a slow process, but I am doing okay. And slowly I am getting better. So I apologize for the shorter videos, but I get out of breath rather quickly because, again, iron takes a toll on your breathing eventually once it gets low enough. And I just simply have not had enough put back in my system to be feeling back to normal yet. It'll take a couple of weeks, but I will get there. So please don't worry. Everybody, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.